He has no eyes, his head a transparent bubble that contains his massive brain. He can barely speak, his mood swings can be catastrophic, and destructive bolts of mental lightning emanate from him when he is upset. Easily manipulated, not so easily stopped. An original member of the Fatal Five, but not necessarily a villain. He is Validus, and he is the subject of this next installment of Welcome to the Comicverse. First appearing in Adventure Comics issue 352 from January of 1967, a creation of artists and writers Jim Shooter and Kurt Swan, Validus would not get much development beyond being presented as a freakishly powerful Frankenstein-like monster until 17 years later, in 1984. It would be annual number 3 of the Legion of Superheroes that would finally give us the origin story of one of DC's most powerful entities, and it would be an origin story that would continue into the next volume, an annual number 2 in 1986, that would surprise longtime readers with its final conclusion. But before we begin, we'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe, comment, and share this video out. It really helps out the channel each and every week. Thank you. At the time of publication, issue number 352 of Adventure Comics contained a heroic lineup of Cosmic Boy, Pharaoh Lad, Princess Projectra, Sunboy, and Superboy. And this issue would not only be the first appearance of Validus, but also the villainous cosmic gang known as the Fatal Five, a rivalry that would continue for decades. We begin with a monitoring station on the outmost rim of the galaxy. The United Planets placed these early warning systems to search for and detect threats from deep space. Unfortunately for this warning station, its instruments begin to blare and sound off as the most dangerous threat of them all appears on its radar. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Superboy and the rest of the League are learning about another threat. They are viewing a film filled with intelligence on 5 individuals considered priority targets. There is the Persuader, highest paid killer and gangland enforcer, number 1 on the science police list of most wanted extortionists, followed by Tharok, half human, half robot, second to none when it comes to inventing weapons and machines for crime. Next, Saria, the Emerald Empress of the planet Vengar, the most wanted female criminal in the history of the universe, guilty of everything from murder to space piracy. Then from the planet Anktu, there is Mono, whose glowing right hand can disintegrate any object it touches, including whole planets. And finally, the only one on the list who's being held in captivity, Validus. Origin? Unknown. Species? Unknown. His strength is incalculable, and mental lightning pulses from his brain. However, Validus is not known as an evil creature. He's never stolen nor killed or destroyed anything with malice intent. But he is subject to sudden seizures of madness, during which anything in his way will be obliterated. The science police trap Validus in a cell of impenetrable inertron, from which even he cannot escape. He's scheduled for execution the very next day. After the briefing, the Legion retire to their quarters for a good night's rest, except Superboy, who's on watch. It does not take long for the President of the United Planets Council to call in and disturb the peaceful evening. A monitoring station has detected Earth's greatest fear entering the galaxy. You see, 2 centuries ago, telescopes discovered a large cloud-like object drifting in deep space. Scientists watched as it engulfed a massive star, leaving behind a black hole. Sometimes it would swallow whole galaxies. Now, after all of this time, it seems the cloud, designated the Sun Eater, is on a direct path for Earth and its central star. The Legion decide that they need everyone on deck to help, but all of their pleas to other superheroes are fruitless. Their only option? Villains. After all, it's their lives in jeopardy too. The Legion split up to recruit the members of the Fatal Five. Sunboy is sent to talk to Validus. As Sunboy enters the colossal cell, he is struck by just how big Validus is. He's a giant. He asks Validus if he'd like to go free, instead of being executed tomorrow. Validus's response is to pound on the walls. Free? Yes, Validus wants to be free, but he does not need a puny earthling to help him. Mental lightning and Validus's booming voice knocks Sunboy over in a fit of rage. Sunboy, despite Validus not having eyes, lets out a high-intensity solar burst to blind the beast. It does not faze Validus, but he does begin to calm down, his rage subsiding for the moment. Sunboy asks him again for his help, and Validus agrees to go with him. Our story continues in issue number 353 of Adventure Comics. After much infighting between villains and heroes, they finally confront the Sun Eater. Validus wades into the massive cloud, meeting its energy with his own, devastating force against devastating force. But Validus staggers out moments later, exhausted, charred, overwhelmed by the limitless power of the Sun Eater. A wounded and weary Validus collapses. He watches as Princess Projectra attempts to battle the Sun Eater with illusions and distractions, but she is clearly overmatched. The Sun Eater blasts a column of radiation and fire towards her, a blast that will incinerate her entire being. That is, until the wounded Validus rises and steps in between the princess and the fire, taking it and blasting lightning into the billowy threat. In that moment, the princess realizes that Validus is not a villain. He's not even evil. Minutes later, after giving the Sun Eater everything he can, Validus emerges successful. He has forced the deadly cloud to retreat. Back on their ship, the wounded Validus is confronted by the 4 other villains. Tharok demands that Validus obey him, but Validus does not want to do his bidding. The Legion look on as Validus clashes with the group of 4 with an explosive and blinding impact. The energy from all 5 caused the group to disappear, as if a dimensional barrier opened up and swallowed them whole. Were they dead? No, just gone. Validus and the rest of the Fatal 5 would continue to battle the Legion for decades to come. But what about Validus? It seemed he was more than just a mindless beast. Where did he come from? What exactly was he? Well, that question would be answered in annual number 3 of the Legion of Superheroes in the story titled The Curse. We begin aboard the medical bay of Earth's orbiting space station. Lightning Lad is trying to comfort Saturn Girl as she prepares to give birth to their first child. Their attending physician, Dr. Gimmel, enters the room and tells Lightning Lad to meet them in the delivery room as the nurses prep Saturn Girl for delivery. Lightning Lad wanders down the hall, only to meet up with their previous doctor, Dr. Larsh, who invites him in for a celebratory drink. As Lightning Lad sits, Dr. Larsh activates a hypnotic containment field around our soon-to-be father. The doctor reveals himself to be Starfinger, longtime foe of Lightning Lad, and that through plastic surgery and clever forgery, he has been posing as a doctor for months, hell-bent on getting revenge. But Starfinger could not have known that Brainiac 5 conditioned the Legion to no longer be susceptible to Starfinger's mental tricks. Lightning Lad gets up and easily defeats Starfinger. Then, he makes his way to the delivery room. When Lightning Lad arrives, Dr. Gimmel is busy scolding the new parents-to-be. They did not want any tests done to determine the sex of the child, or whether there was 1 baby, 2 babies, or more, nor how their powers would affect the newborn. And most importantly, Saturn Girl continued to go on mission after mission, despite doctor's orders. Soon, however, the scolding would be interrupted. Saturn Girl goes into labor. Later on, as Saturn Girl nears the end of giving birth, a mysterious dark cloud arrives and engulfs the space station. All light, all power is extinguished. Dr. Gimmel, being the best in the galaxy, is able to easily deliver the baby in total blackout conditions. And our next panels are that of Saturn Girl and Lightning Lad, gushing over their newborn son, unaware of anything else that may have transpired. And this is our first epilogue, the picture of a happy and healthy young family. Nothing out of the ordinary, just pure joy and smiles. But then, our second epilogue tells us what we never saw. A darkened, desolate world. A baby wrapped in a blue blanket lying against the rocks. And a shadowy figure emerging from the mist. The figure tells the baby that their mother and father will never know. Even their twin will be ignorant of the fact that it was taken at the moment of birth. And even if they had known, they could not even dream of what will be done. And the figure is slowly revealed. Gray granite-like skin, yellow eyes that pop with fire. This is Darkseid, and Saturn Girl's baby will be the beginning of his curse, where darkness grows from inside. Legion Annual number 2 from 1986 would expand upon this story. A 2-year wait to find out exactly what happened to the child of Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl. Of course, it would begin with an aging and somewhat fading Darkseid years later. After all, even new gods diminish and lose their once great power. A power that was used to transform the stolen body of a baby into something born of darkness, then sent back through the years to meet Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl, full grown long before its birth. This is Darkseid's curse fulfilled. Our fairy tale of a story begins with Validus stumbling along a city road, buildings collapsing in his stride. He doesn't even know how he came to be on the planet Rimbor. He's confused and afraid, and he lashes out. Then, he is just as suddenly transported away, warped to a new planet with the help of Alvar, a fanatic of the ancient god Darkseid. Alvar shows Validus the relics of the once great new god, and his resonant power that still flows from the idol. Then, Alvar receives a revelation, a message. Bring Validus, for the moment that he was created for is at hand. He is Darkseid's curse. With these words, a boom tube opens up, and Alvar escorts Validus hand in hand, like a child through the dimensional gate. Validus and Alvar arrive on 31st century Earth. Validus stomps his way towards the Legion headquarters, but makes an abrupt stop at the apartment building where Saturn Girl and Lightning Lad reside. Although they are not home, Validus breaks open the walls. Inside, he grabs the hover crib, gifted to the couple after the birth of their son Graham. Validus carries this with him and eventually drops it to the ground as he continues his march through the city. And the combined power of all the Legion members is not enough to even deter Validus. His power is seemingly invulnerable. When Validus breaks through the walls of the Legion headquarters, he heads straight for the central computer, blasting it with lightning and rage. And as he leaves rubble all around, he picks up a panel, 2 symbols on it, the one of Saturn Girl, the other of Lightning Lad, seemingly foreign to Validus, but yet there's a moment of recognition that comes to him, but then quickly fades. Alvar tells Validus the next destination is ready, his final stop, and another boom tube opens up. The 2 step through. Our next panel is that of the planet Winath, a paradise of nature and warmth. Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl watch as their son Graham chases butterflies. Our 2 parents become distracted for a moment, that is, until Graham points to an opening boom tube. What steps through breaks every atom of calm and relaxation. What steps through is Validus. Saturn Girl knows the planet Winath has nothing to defend itself from the likes of Validus. She elevates herself to look the creature in the face and attempts to connect with Validus telepathically. Although this has never been successful in the past, it is the only way to try and calm the creature down. She begs Validus to open its mind to her, and what she sees is shocking. She falls. After this, Validus seems interested in only one thing, the young infant Graham. He picks the child up, examining it, curious, but he does not harm him. Graham calls out for his mom, but it is his father, Lightning Lad, who commands the beast to release him. And this time, Lightning Lad is ready to summon all of his strength to end the beast once and for all, no matter what. And as he charges up, Saturn Girl runs to him, pleading with Lightning Lad to stop. Lightning Lad questions her stop, but Validus has our son. Saturn Girl's response? They are both our sons. At this revelation, Alvar screams out in failure. This was not supposed to be the final outcome. Lightning Lad should have killed their own child. That was the curse of Darkseid. Validus puts Graham down. Saturn Girl steps into the shadow of what is supposed to be her second child, a twin brother, a twin son. She curses Darkseid, threatens him, then drops to her knees to plead as a mother for Darkseid to return her child as he was supposed to be. Darkseid's laughter can then be heard through the air, as if echoing from afar. He knows that his final plan has failed, but now let it be known, Saturn Girl has acknowledged the darkness and let the children and the parents live, knowing that their lives are but mere gifts from that very same power. With that, Validus reverts back to the child he was always supposed to be, and for the first time, Saturn Girl holds her twin sons in her arms. As for Alvar, he rails at Darkseid. He was faithful, he was a servant, but for Darkseid, he served his purpose. Now, he can die. Alvar then melts away to nothing. Our epilogue is that of Saturn Girl, in the caves that once held the idol of Darkseid, now empty. She speaks out to him, she thanks him, and as much as it hurts, gives him her respect. For she now knows that the lesson Darkseid was teaching is that the darkness is always there, always at the edge of the dawn, and that once you look upon the darkness with fear, you have then lost. But she, Saturn Girl, tells Darkseid she is not afraid. she's not afraid of the darkness, she's not afraid of him, and she never will be. With that, she leaves, the sound of Darkseid's laughter echoing behind her from within the barren tunnels. And there you have it, the first appearance and origin story of Validus, one of DC's most powerful entities. I hope you enjoyed that look back at pop culture and comic book history. I thank you for watching. If you want more pop culture fun, click on the thumbnail at the end of the video for our look back at the main man and his evolution throughout the decades. You'll be glad you did. Until next time, remember, I am still your reluctant gringo from somewhere south of the border. Salud and a huevo.